So one of my people in the comments section, he basically asked me, what do I think about Umar Johnson? Now, I'm going to give you a background history of how long I've been actually watching Umar Johnson talk, and hear his perspective on things. The first time I listened to Dr. Umar, no, the first time I saw him speak was in 2012. And then the first time I saw him really taking a full speech of what Dr. Umar Johnson was saying was 2014. But Dr. Umar Johnson, I remember seeing way even back. I think I've seen him in real life. I think I have. I just I think I have. The only thing is he's been doing this for a while. His black empowerment thing. My thoughts on him is they've kind of turned him into a meme, and it's hilarious. And on top of that, I do think that he's very gifted in speech. I think he has a message to bring. He actually is a person that everybody should listen to, not just black people. I think everybody should listen to him. I wouldn't consider myself a pro-black person. All I would say is I like good information, and our Dr. Umar Johnson does bring pretty good information. He's a very gifted speaker. The problem is with him is it's the same reason why he got a meme. He got memed. The shenanigans. Did you ever see that Dr. Umar Johnson video where he tried to act like he picked up the phone? He said, nah, I got this. And the phone rang. The tomfoolery with this man. And obviously I never donated to his thing because he did hustle y'all for that money. I mean, this dude been that whole school thing. Yeah, he hustled y'all. Not only is he gifted, like Corey Holcomb said, not only is he gifted with the mouth, he's gifted with the game. Anyway. Now, regarding the information, a lot of it is spot on. A lot of the this is more of a message, not just only to my black followers. This is a message to all of my followers on it. I want you to actually listen to some of Dr. Umar Johnson's speeches on the war on young black boys in terms of ADHD medicine. The stuff that I talk about, therapy and all this stuff, if you watch those, I'll tell you this, a lot of the information about the therapist and all that, I got it from Umar Johnson first and from personal experience in my life. I'm not going to go into the personal experience in my life with that, but that's kind of how I connected with Dr. Umar Johnson with that message about them literally drugging up little black boys if they don't behave a certain way in class, and how white female teachers do not know how to handle these people. So they literally, he explained the process, but he was just focusing on black boys. But this is a problem with boys that the sexist teachers cannot deal with. I want you to listen to it because he's going to be focusing on the black boys. But this is what happens in American society. As what's that saying? As below, so above. It eventually is going to spread. Eventually, ideas start mixing in. Ideas start spreading. Now, we talk about the 80-20 rule, right? Niggas been dealing with that for ages. Now, niggas been dealing with the 80-20 rule. Now it's prevalent. Now you're hearing women talking about 6 feet and blah, blah, blah. And if you're Republicans, swipe left. Black men have been dealing with that for forever. You know what I mean? This is why I'm talking about to my non-black followers. I actually want you to listen to Umar Johnson's, just type in Umar Johnson war on black boys or whatever, and hear about how basically the education system hustles ADHD medicine to young boys. I want you to listen to that, and it actually ties in together. A lot of your favorite red pill talking points, when you talk about the PUAs, came from black pimps. All right. You talk about MGTOW, even MGTOW. If you really want to get deep into it, the Nation of Islam, right? They've always had this message. We need to leave America. We got to separate from America, only because it's not even just the racist thing, is because their system is not going to work long term. So once that happens, if we're separate, right? But they're obviously focusing on racial, but that now you're hearing the MGTOWs, right? We need to go our own way, right? So a lot of these messages are not new. Even the Nation of Islam's message. If you look at all the ancient philosophers and you start really doing your research, you'll realize that MGTOW has been around really forever. And these messages, even, dude, Frank Sinatra had like a quote. He said, like, they asked him, how do you keep your marriage going? And this is Frank Sinatra. This is one of the handsomest dudes, popular dudes ever in America. He was that dude at the time. You know what he said? Prostitutes. That was his answer. Now, this was what, in the 40s, 30s, the 1930s? This is not, there's nothing new under the sun. And now also another thing, the reason why I actually gravitate to Umar Johnson is because he's not bought by a corporation. He grew, what people don't know is a lot of black leaders are usually paraded like they've been bought and paid for, like, you know, the Jesse Jacksons, you know, the Al Sharptons, who else? A lot of the, you know, a lot of the Black Lives Matter, the people in that movement are not even really black activists. They're LGBT, you know, they're alphabet mafia. You know what I mean? And those people are literally, they're actually self-admitted communists. Those are not our leaders. Those people are bought and paid for. Dr. Umar, despite the shenanigans, he came up organically, meaning the people paid, the general public, whether it be the people from Philadelphia, us, the black people gave him money, right? The regular black people, right? The people from the hood, or just the American black men, or American black men and women gave him his money. That's the people's money that he's living off of, right? Whether it be, you know, him going to conventions, him giving speeches, he came up organically, you know, through YouTube, right? He came up organically through the people. So he's not bought by a corporation. He doesn't have any sponsorships. You know, he's just a character. He is a YouTube personality, technically a YouTube personality, even though he wouldn't call himself that. He's a YouTube personality. And also, you know, I see a lot of people, they give Tariq Nasheed a little bit of hate. And what a lot of red pill people don't understand, especially if you're white, Tariq was actually one of the original. he used to be on his PUA shit back in the day. I remember those days. He used to be like a PUA. I used to see videos of him, you know, talking about giving a game in the Mac before he was on his pro black shit, you know. So I will say this to my black and my non-black followers, my white, Hispanic, Asian followers, listen to Umar Johnson's speech, Dr. Umar Johnson's speeches on the war. I'm talking about how they hustle Ritalin inside the classrooms. And you see how I kind of put two and two together. The parade of thoughts of teachers, right? The sexism that they display. Because we all know the female teachers that we had were very sexist. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck, right? You put that in there. Most of them white female teachers. And then now we take into account Umar Johnson was on the Breakfast Club. And this is how I know he was for real with his message right here. Charlemagne the God was trying to, because Charlemagne the God, he's part of the beast. He's part of the evil people. But he wanted Umar Johnson because he does have a psych degree himself. He wanted him to say, what do you think about, mental health and therapy? And Umar Johnson had an interesting take on it. He said, be careful of this mental health push. They're just that's an agenda. He was basically explaining the game. I need you to watch that as well. Watch that as well. Umar Johnson was ahead of the game. A lot of the stuff that we're going through, I heard this in 8th grade, in 9th and 10th grade. This is why a lot of the stuff, when it comes to that, I am ahead of the game in terms of knowing about this, because I listened to him talk about it first, to be honest with you. I heard, but I was focused on, they're only doing it to black boys. But this is it's a way bigger problem. It's a way bigger problem than I gave it credit for. It's a way bigger problem than I gave it credit for. And Umar Johnson was one of the first people I heard talk about this. One of the first. So I always had to give him credit for that. And even though he's for mental health as well, but he's not with that push. You got to see that video, because it's basically everything that you heard, everything you heard from CGA, you know, everybody else, me as well, about stay away from mental therapists and all that stuff. He said that first. He was one of the first people saying that, even though he has a psych degree himself, you know. So that's my thoughts on Umar. I think Umar Johnson actually gives very valuable information if you listen. He gives I remember he was talking about, I remember him talking about the US dollar, you know, the Chinese taking over, the US dollar about to be in devalue. He was talking about like a lot of, like, even, you know, I remember, how about this? Another black leader that don't get the credit that he deserved, Rizza Islam from the Nation of Islam. He was one of the first people before the pandemic hit. He was like, yo, you gotta here. We got these forms that you can sign to exempt yourself, because he said, like, I remember in 2018 he came on Corey Holcomb's show, Risk of Islam. He came on Corey Holcomb's show, and he was talking about in the future there's gonna be something that happens where they're gonna force you to get a shot, and you won't be able to travel, you won't be able to work, you won't be able to go to school without getting something put in you. And I drug my feet on that, and it happened way sooner than I thought. So once that pandemic stuff started hitting, I was like, oh shoot, I'm too late. I was like, they warned me. So God, I'll say this. I think, especially, when you join a space like this, the manosphere, I don't know if I would consider myself, a black manosphere member. I don't know what I would identify as. I definitely feel like a manosphere member, particularly a black manosphere member. I don't know. I accept all my people. You know what I mean? I want to see my people do well in life, because I just want to see them do well in life. It's not even a matter of what happened in the past, because I don't even care about that. I just want to go into the future, without making excuses. You know what I'm saying? So that's always been my belief about that. I don't think reparations is going to help. Reparations is not, like, our like black people shit is just so disorganized. Like, I remember in watching The Barbershop too, the movie, and they was asking, and I remember he was like, every black man is owed $100,000, and Cedric the Entertainer, I think Eddie was his name in the movie. He's like, what were they going to do? That's only going to make Cadillac the #1 dealership in America. And I basically had that same, like, we don't have the infrastructure. We don't have a clear leader. We don't have leaders. Our best leaders are clowns. And the ones that we are supposed to be for us, the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons, those guys are bought and paid for. So, I wish Umar Johnson the best. He brings great information if you listen. Sometimes I still listen to him, because I think he's a cool dude, to be quite honest with you. I think he's a cool dude. I just less of the clown shit though from Umar. I just give that information and keep it pushing. Enough of the clown shit, you know what I mean? But it does make for good memes.